up, y'all?
Thanks for
Everybody
joining
good?
us
Yeah,
again.
everybody
All right,
good.
man. You good house and family, David?
Everyone's great.
The parents listening this morning?
They're in the car right now.
Oh,
You know?
they
Still
still
in
in
the
the
car?
car.
Wait, where's the hookup for the house?
Yo, did I not give you?
Not, that's just,
They're just gonna sit in the car anyway.
That's just.
I
they
don't know
old
if I want
school,
mom in the car.
I know.
It's
She
about
just-
to get cold in
It is about to
Michigan,
get
right?
cold.
They don't care.
Nah.
If it snow, your pops is gonna make his wife get in the car.
That's a good. You know what? You about to start some stuff. They listening right now.
Mr. and Mrs. Dub, get in the house, man. Sway got the hookup here at Sirius. We got you, Mr. and Mrs. Dub.
I'm gonna buy y'all some gloves though, just in case.
Yeah,
But
they need something.
oh nah, but you beautiful people, man.
Yeah.
I love your family, and I can't wait for the invite.
That's how you added that? Did you want to invite?
For the food,
Always.
I just gotta
So
see what it's like,
predictable.
man. Which house were we eating? Like whose house am I going to?
That's a good question.
Yeah,
That's a good question. My parents come. They getting ready to come to Atlanta in a couple of weeks. So
Chris' house.
yeah.
Okay.
So you welcome there. We're gonna have a bunch of food for sure.
All right.
Yeah,
All
they'll
right.
get down.
David, he's really going to call you.
Yeah, I know. It's all good. You welcome though. It'll be fun.
I met his
It'd be
parents.
fun.
I met your mom. I
Yeah.
feel like she was there that
Yeah.
day we came out, right?
Mhm.
She may not remember me, but
She know who you are. So.
okay, cool, man. I won't spend the whole conversation on your parents. I just love a couple that how many years?
They've been married 54.
Wow.
54 years.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
go.
Yeah, man. Give them a big round of
Yo.
applause.
What?
That's
Yes.
beautiful.
Half a
54
centennial.
years.
Man.
The only other people I knew to be married that long were my grandparents. And I just saw a relationship that lasts that long is different from one that lasts 20, 30, 40, 50-something years,
For sure.
man.
For sure. And
See,
I've
that-
seen them grow too.
Yeah.
I've seen them grow for sure.
So to me, that was at a time where people got married probably in their 20s, like very early.
Very early, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So like 71,
They
1971.
got married in 71.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, and they people just don't do that kind of stuff anymore. Like even for me, if one of my nieces at 20 or 21 came to me and said, "I'm getting married," I was like, "For what?
You're too young, right?
You're too
Yeah,
young." But
yeah.
it was such common practice with your grandparents' age. They had to have gotten married in their early 20s.
No, they
right?
were very young when they
Yeah.
got married. From the South, you
Yep.
know, and they migrated to the West Coast from Louisiana. My grandfather was very precocious at a young age, a very mature man who
Yeah.
was driving a car at early teens. And,
Yeah.
you know, my grandmother was very sophisticated and, you know, very pristine and a stickler for education. And she was a director for the Toastmistress organization and did all of these social, not elite, but you know, social events that would bring people together, empowerment events. And so the two of them were amazing. But I didn't witness any of turbulence, right? But I'm sure in their 50-plus years of marriage, there was a lot of turbulence.
Of course.
In cycles, or not even in cycles, but at different points of their relationship, right? Did you witness any turbulence?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
But the commitment to one another never changed. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? My father is he's my hero for sure. He the hardest working person, the smartest person I know. My mother was educated, so she did the school and got her master's and those types of things. But my father was, like I said, he was the smartest person I've ever met in my life, just from a life, what to do in life and how to move about life. His famous line is, if you don't think for yourself, somebody else will think for you. Now, that sounds very simple, right? If you don't think for yourself, somebody else will think for you. Sounds simple. But as I've gotten older in life, it's the truth. Other people will make decisions for you. You end up following people around and doing what they do. You don't go with the Joneses and whatever society says is right, or whatever society says to do, you do. So if you don't think for yourself, somebody else they're gonna be thinking for you.
I
And
love
so,
that.
Yeah.
That's actually part of the problem that I have. One of the biggest problems that I have with liars and manipulators, because I feel like when you don't tell me the truth or you're manipulating, you decided something already for me.
Yep.
You didn't give me
Yeah.
the opportunity to make a decision based on the reality.
Yep.
You know, you manipulated or you told the untruth, and that's the biggest issue that I have. You decided for me already.
Yeah.
You know, and always had an issue with that.
Yeah.
So shout out to your father. That is
For
wise words from a wise man.
Say their
sure.
names. The Webbers? Or,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Doris and Macy Weber.
okay,
Shout
George and Macy Webber.
Doris and Macy. Yeah.
Do-
Doris
wait,
and-
what?
Doris and Macy. Doris and Macy.
Your father's name is Macy?
His name is Macy. Chris's name is
Miss
Macy.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
See, you're not in the
Yeah.
family like you thought.
I'm just respectful. I would have called him Mr. Weber.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. Just out of
You
respect.
could have read Chris's bio and found all of that out, though, Sway.
Yo, no,
Uh-oh.
Macy is a
Macy. Yeah.
Macy is an
G.
old
That's
school
a G.
name.
A G
name.
name.
Damn,
Yeah.
a man named Macy.
Macy. Yeah. And if I have a daughter one day, which is hopefully, I'm gonna name her. I'm gonna name her Macy.
Oh, I
Okay.
love.
What's wrong? You said hopefully you shooting blanks?
No.
In front of his parents
got it
who are
right.
listening
Oh, my
in the
bad.
car
My
right
bad.
now.
My bad. All right. Okay.
All this talk about respect.
Okay,
my bad.
Don't invite him to your house, Mr.
Sorry,
and Mrs.
Webbers.
W.
Sorry, Webbers. All right, we gonna come back with David Weber. If you have any questions in and around mental health,
Yeah.
please call up, and I'm gonna ask you a question that I've been thinking about when it applies to this industry we're in.
Yeah.
Okay, so call us up 888-742-3345. Wow, that's the voice of the one and only David Weber.
Yes.
Like I said, he has a master's degree in clinical mental health counseling from Northwestern. I want to open up the phone lines. A lot of us deal with mental health issues or challenges and don't have the outlets or the resources to seek out a professional necessarily. We provide you one every single month with David Weber, who flies here himself. He takes care of his own expenses. I want to just say that because he's dedicated to this audience and to the community to assist, be that resource, help, explain, explore, be somebody who could, sometimes you just need somebody to listen to you.
Yeah.
You know, he's that guy too. I know it for a fact. We have, I won't say who it is, but we do have a citizen who sought help, and we volunteered to step up and help this person out and provide the resources it takes for that person to seek out help. And David Weber has been the liaison to that throughout this whole time, and he helped find one of our citizens, one of his colleagues, to help him out. David ain't invoicing me. You know, for this, right? This man, you know, he's highly educated, highly experienced, and, you know, he comes with a high price tag, rightfully so. He's earned it. But these things are being done out the kindness of his heart.
True.
So each time he comes here, I like to say thank you, David.
Yes. Thank you,
I
David.
appreciate you for your presence. And that was a clip from a past conversation we had about relationships and people just learning how to communicate and talk. Now, I'm going to build on that, but not in the form of relationships, just the idea of talking, right? How much talking and what kind of talk is useful, what kind of talking is resourceful, what kind of talking is healthy for us. And then the flip side of that, when is talking not healthy?
Yeah.
When it's communicating is hurtful, is you know, a detriment.
Yeah.
You know, how do we measure those things? You know, sometimes I look at a lot of conversations, and I'll just say it within this realm of hip hop, whether it's broadcast journalism or whether it's podcasting, so on and so forth, and I see a common thread, a common theme. Is a lot of it has to do with harboring in the past.
Yeah.
Excessively. Like, I like to bring up the past,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and I wonder if I do it too much. But I like to talk about some of my past things that I did as a young swiggity, you know, and those things help shape and mold me to the person I am today. But I understand I'm no longer that young swiggity.
Right.
I'm not running track. I'm not running them hurdles. but I'm proud of what I did then.
But I
Right.
think you also bringing it up in a different way. It's
Yes.
related to a story. You'll bring up you running track because you're now hosting, you and your family put together track events. And that's
Exactly.
what your inspiration came from.
Mhm.
So I think that's in a
That's a
different
little
way.
different. And
Yeah.
that was the natural evolution. But the conversation evolved.
Yeah.
It didn't get stagnant and stuck.
There you go.
20 or 30 years ago, especially when we rehash old wounds that people have lived through, probably medicated through and left behind them. This business, because of talking, you know, people have to find things to talk about. And so I'm curious from a mental health professional perspective, when we linger in the past consistently and constantly, can it be a detriment? Does it hurt? Can it hurt us? Right?
Yeah.
And what is your thoughts about that?
Yeah, it could definitely be a detriment, and I would argue it's probably a detriment more often than we give credit for.
Okay.
I think we're attached to certain identities, right? So I used to be an athlete, or I used to be this, or I used to do that. I used to be in the street, whatever it may be. And it's 25 years later, and that's still your identity on some level, right? Like you want to still be respected for being in the streets 25 years ago. And now you're a father, you got a 9-to-5 job, you work hard, you pay your taxes. And instead of talking about that and focusing on that, the focus becomes, the conversation becomes what happened 25 years ago and those types of things. I think identity is one of the hardest things to shift and change. Is not only who we are, but our perception or other people's perceptions of us and whether or not we care about that perception, right? So let's say I was a street dude, right? And so if I was a street dude, I still want people to respect me as a street dude, even though it's been 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so their perception of me becomes way too important. Right. Instead of my perception of myself or my wife's perception of me or my children's perception of me. And so oftentimes I think we have a problem as it relates to what is our own identity, but also why do we care so much about other people's perception of us, particularly people we haven't even spoken to in 10, 15, 20 years.
Does it hinder our, if we constantly, and these are very, I haven't thought this out, but if we're constantly recycling the past, does it hinder our potential, does it hinder our growth to move on into the future? You know what I mean? Like if I'm always talking about the past, then I'm living in the past.
That's it. We can't. That's it.
I'm in the right now. If I'm always talking about the past, then that's where I'm at.
That's it. Like what's the new thing? So first off, I don't know about y'all, but I'm so tired of group chats on my phone. I'm so sick of that. Oh my word! Right? Because the conversation is always about nonsense. It's like it's nothing conversation. It's a waste of time. Does that make any sense? No. Now, obviously, there's some people out there who are having great conversations in their group chats, but mine ain't great. Mine, here we go again. It's a bunch of gossip, bunch of stuff that happened, again, 10, 15, 20 years ago. What are we doing now? Is there a conversation about now and what we're trying to do now? I want to be a part of that conversation. If it's a conversation about something that happened 10 years ago, I don't care. I don't care about high school. I don't care about what happened in high school and so-and-so. You remember we played so-and-so? No, I don't remember, and I don't care. Right? Like, what are we doing? What are we doing now? So as it relates to your identity, if you want to change your identity, let's say you've always been whatever. Let's say you've always been a street dude. Let's say, and I just got finished working in a prison. That's why I keep talking about street stuff right now. But I used to have this conversation in the prison when we would have group therapy in prison. And the question for me to them always was, who are you now? What can you do now to change your life? I get what happened. I get what you did. I get you got a 10-year bid or a 5-year bid or even life for some of them. But what can you do now moving forward to make a difference in other people's lives? And so I don't want to sit here and talk all day long about what happened 25 years ago. What are we trying to do now? And so that's really difficult for some people to detach from their old identity.
So I don't want to speak for Sway, but let's just say in the case of media, where it's working for some people, let's say that bringing up old beefs, let's say attacking people, attacking women, attacking just certain things, gossiping, it's working for some people. They're bringing in $50,000 a month in streaming money by doing that. How do they get off of it? Like, how do you stop? How do you find a new identity if everybody's coming to your platform or coming to your space for this type of low-hanging fruit, to borrow a phrase from Sway? Yeah,
depends on what you value. If you value money, if that's your God, if that's what you value more than anything, you ain't gonna change. You know what I mean? That you're gonna stay right there, because whatever you gotta conjure up, whatever stuff you got to get going, and whatever conversations you have to have in order to bring more money in, you're going to do that. But so that would be my question. What do you value? What do you truly value?
Got it.
Right? And we, again, another conversation we have in therapy all the time. What are your values? People say certain values are theirs. That's not really your value. right? If your value is honesty, if your value is integrity, if your value is change, then I should be able to see the fruits of that in your life. And if I can't see the fruits of that, you're just talking. You know what I mean? So for the people who like to bring up old conversations and this and that and the other and start stuff online, and even some of y'all who in the comments with negative comments in the comment section on Instagram, for what? Why are you wasting your time why are you wasting your time going at people on Instagram? Like, that tells me, if you come to my session, you say, yeah, on Instagram, sometimes I comment, negative stuff. What are we talking about right now? What part of you is so attached to what's going on in someone else's life that you got something negative to say online about their life? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Online. Can you imagine going to Sway's comment section like, yeah, Sway, look at your hat. Like, what? Like look at your jacket, Sway.
That happens every day.
I'm sure. That's what I'm saying.
You're bringing up old wounds,
I
bro.
got you. That's what I'm saying.
Trigger.
This is going to go into a whole nother
Right.
session, man.
But that's
All
my
right.
point. That's my point. Is
All right.
how do you have the time and energy to go into Sway's comment section and say something about him, or Heather B's comment section, or Mike's comment section for what? Right? And so I think to be honest with y'all, I think a lot of people are not happy.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, a lot of people are not happy. And when you're not happy, you have to find something. That's the whole idea of projection. You have to find something else with somebody else. And then you go in their section and you comment on negative stuff and stuff like that. So anyway, I'm getting off topic, Heather B, but my point is that if you don't detach from the identity, your old identity, and embrace your new identity, you'll keep living in the past.
David Weber is here. Give out your social media, because I want people to be able to reach you directly,
Yep.
who won't be able to make it on the phone line. So we're going to go to phone callers in a second. How can people reach you?
Yeah, reach me on Instagram at DavidWeber_LPC. That's David WEBBER_LPC.
All right, we got Denard on the line from Houston. Welcome to the show, D. What's
What up,
poppin',
D?
man?
Yo.
Good morning. Good morning. How y'all doing?
Doing great.
Good morning.
Excellent. What's your question
Right.
for David?
Well, my question was really me trying to focus on the now, like y'all saying, but at the same time, I'm a professional guy, and I veered off a little bit a few years ago. Now I have a family and everything, right? So, as far as the professional mind state, I kind of do want to focus on how I used to be, you know what I mean? Because now me meeting people and trying to figure this thing out, I'm like right on top of where I need to be. Like I've been speaking to David behind the scenes. I mean, like on Instagram a little bit too.
Oh, okay.
And just focusing on, I'm trying to start this thing to where I can take care of my family, and I don't want to focus on what I did wrong. Like one of my partners told me yesterday, don't focus on what might happen wrong. Just focus on what you're doing positive now. But it's just, I guess, it's a lot of confusion. I don't even know where to go. See what I'm saying? I just,
No, I'm
just trying to,
Yeah, man.
yeah.
What you said was good, though. I think what you said was great. Focusing on what's going on right now. What you described,
Yeah.
too, by the way, we all do this on some level. There's a cognitive distortion called catastrophizing. That's when you think of the worst possible case scenario of a thing. And so we'll create these scenarios of things that didn't happen. In other words, what if my business fails? What if I don't pass that test? What if, like, we do that what if conversation about things that have not happened yet? That's called catastrophizing again. But right now, what you're talking about, I think, is great. How do you focus on what you got going on now? That being it, let me focus on what's going on right now in my life, the positive things that are going on in my life. For some of you who don't feel like necessarily you have positive things going on in your life right now, find some. Write some things down. What are some positive things I can do moving forward? Is that going to the gym? Is that taking a class? Is that doing yoga? Like, what are some positive things I can do moving forward instead of focusing on all the mistakes that we made? Listen, we're all human, and we all made a bunch of mistakes.
Yeah.
If you 30, 40, 50 years old, you made a bunch of mistakes in your life, and that's okay. The question becomes, what can you do moving forward? What can you do moving forward and not beating yourself up? Let me say this last thing, too. We're really good at forgiveness when it comes to other people. We're really good at compassion when it comes to other people. We're not very good when it comes to ourselves. And so if you did make some mistakes in your past, have some self-compassion. Self-compassion. Hey, I'm human. I made some mistakes. It's all good. What can I do moving forward and not repeating and making those same mistakes?
Denard, I want to thank you for sharing. Well, I just let me say this because that's okay. I want to make sure we get to some other callers, but thank you for being open and honest and transparent on the airwaves. You may not realize that your story is relatable to thousands of others who are out there, and by you even bringing this to the forefront and allowing David to respond to it, there are droves of other people who are being helped by your story. So I want to say thank you, brother. You're a super citizen.
Let's wait in the morning.
And onward and forward, okay?
Yes, sir. Real quick. Since I spoke with David the first time, it really did help me. And I do have everything in my life right now is positive. But that one little piece of doubt could throw y'all. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Y'all just don't understand. Y'all just don't understand. I appreciate y'all.
Thank you, brother. You're a super citizen.
God bless you, D. It's Sway in the morning.
Man, you got to love it, man. Tasha's on the line for Wisconsin. Tasha,
what up, Tosh?
Hey, Tasha.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Doing great.
Excellent. What's your question for David?
So the question is, we talk about moving on and not talking about the past, but we also talk about giving grace and forgiving. How can you not talk about the past and move forward if in the past behaviors have happened, but the repairs haven't happened, and it's hard to move forward when you're being triggered?
That's a wonderful question. I'm certainly not saying to never talk about the past. So let me rephrase. I'm not saying to never talk about the past. I'm saying I can't live in the past, right? I graduated high school in 1998. I can't live in 1998, right? I may talk about it occasionally about something that may have happened, but I can't live there. And also I think what you're talking about too is when the issue involves someone else. So there hasn't been healing yet, right? And so if the issue, Okay. So if the issue involves someone else, then hopefully we can have a conversation. Unfortunately, not everyone wants to have that conversation, right? There are some people who may have done you wrong who are not willing to have a conversation with you, right? So that's okay. And then I have to put up boundaries, right, as it relates to our relationship and move forward. I may love you and care about you. We're going back to that and sentence. I love you. I care about you. And I have to move forward. You know what you did wrong. You know what you did to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I can't sit there and carry the weight of what you did to me. I have to be able to move forward in my own life. And so whoever did you wrong in your life, for the vast majority of the time, they know they did you wrong. They know what they did. Right. They know what they did. The question becomes, can you forgive them in this sense? Not forgive them in the sense of, what they did, it doesn't matter. I don't mean it that way. I mean forgive you enough that I can move on and still love you.
I'm just trying to figure out the difference between where the grace stops and the boundaries start. You know what I mean? Because I feel like some people they play that that Christianity card. Oh, grace this, and I gave you grace and this and that. But it'd be like apples to oranges, and it's like moving forward, I want to give you grace, but I think people have different definitions of what like forgiveness and grace look like.
Okay, what's your definition of grace?
I'm still trying to figure it out. That's why I called, because I don't.
All right.
That's why I called, because I think that when you got other people involved, children are involved, and life has happened, and children are involved in the choices that you make, especially when you're in a relationship with someone and you got family built around it. Your choices end up affecting other people, and so it's like I love this person, but I can't keep being triggered if your behaviors ain't changing. But I'm supposed to move on, and just not talk about the past.
You just said it.
What?
I love what you just said.
What I say?
Tasha just said I just went off, D.
Right.
What I said?
Right.
Tell me what I said, please.
Right. If the person is still in your life, or they still have to be in your life on some level, right?
Yes, sir.
I know what you did wrong. It involves children. And y'all know I'm real sensitive when it comes to children, right? It involves children. I don't play about the kids, Okay? So that's when your boundaries, you can't play with it. Now, am I going to bring it up every single time we talk and have a conversation? No. I have to move forward, but I'm not playing with you. Does that make sense?
Okay.
I'm not playing with you. So, right, whatever it may be, you ain't going to be around my kids. You ain't going to have that effect again. And watch this.
Okay.
And I love you. And I love you. So I don't care if that's a father, a cousin, a mother, or uncle. And I love you. And you're not gonna be around my kids. Period.
Period. Point blank. Period. Okay.
It is what it is. I can love you and have boundaries.
Tasha said thank you. Let's okay, we got it. All right, thank you, Tasha.
You said what you said, Tasha. You
I'm
said what you said.
I'm about to go add you on Instagram too. So I really
appreciate
appreciate you taking the time, and I thank y'all, and I listen to y'all every morning. And God bless y'all.
God bless you.
bless you too,
and,
Josh.
and Tasha, you can hit him off air. He'll respond.
For sure.
So David Weber _LPC, and good luck to you. You're a super citizen,
That's
all right?
right in the morning. God bless, T.
Indiana, we got Don on the line. You wanted to comment on what was just said, Don?
Yeah, pretty much. I've just been listening. I just tuned in. I'm driving to an appointment, but I kind of felt like I needed a comment on there, and I really never did it. But I grew up in a godly home, so trying to forgive somebody is really, really difficult at times, especially with family members. And then on top of that, I worked in the state prison system for about 3 years.
Wow.
And I kind of had an impact on the guys in my dorm, and I had a chance to build a rapport with them. And I told them, I was like, look, in order for you to get yourself in a better situation, sometimes you got to get surrounded by positive people, places, and things.
Yeah.
And I told them, unfortunately, sometimes you got to distance yourself from family because they're expecting the old you when you get out, and they don't know the new you that has been working on yourself, changing yourself since you've been locked up. And I've actually, had it come across a couple different people in the small town that I live in that are in a kind of like a halfway house to get yourself better. And then I've even had a couple of guys go up to my supervisors and whatnot and say, yeah, Cox, he's doing, he's bringing structure to the dorm and blah, blah, blah. So
that's wonderful.
That's good.
But yeah, you guys, it sounds like you, Mr. Weber, you really know what you're talking about. And that's truly amazing, because nowadays we need that in America with all the shootings and crazy stuff going on.
Everything going on. I appreciate your comment. And also, the fact that you worked in prison, I definitely understand that side as well. The difference that you made in the pod or the dorm is we need that, and they hear you, right? And not only they hear your words, they also hear your example or see your example. So we appreciate what you do. But thank you for your words.
Hey, Don, and I like how he said, surround yourself with positive energy.
There you go.
Because you're going to feel energy when you walk in the room.
There you go.
If it ain't aligned with how you feel, get out of there.
There you go.
But if it is, that's what we try to create in our room, Don, every morning when we do this show. And guests come to this show. We want them to feel
I've had like quite a few
when they walk
different
in. And you've been here, David, when folks walk out.
Yeah.
We feel good.
Oh, yeah.
And about that great energy. Don, you're a super citizen, man.
We appreciate
you, man. Give it up for Don, yo.
Don.
Yeah. Said distance yourself. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man.
David Weber, I have a question for thee. Oftentimes when we are unhappy, we'll go to music. We always hear that music is therapy, that comes from the artists who say that about their process. But I really want to focus on the listeners of music, and lyrics can echo our pain, and we cling to these lyrics that kind of are a reflection of our inner world. But I would love your perspective on if listening to sad music can be healing, or can it risk reinforcing negative cycles? Like it's one thing for a music to resonate, but when you're repeatedly listening to a song or an album that is maybe all about heartbreak, what's the boundary between resonance and rumination?
Wonderful question. I think personally that negative music or music, sad music, or music that alters your mood, depending on where you're at, depending on what state you're in, can be horrible for you, right? If you know you deal with depression, that's something you deal with, right? Your house is not very clean. You're not very motivated. You have thoughts of suicide, or what they call suicidal ideation. Sad music for you may not be a thing for you. It may not work for you. For someone else who's, they're running and they, surfing, and they go to work every day and they're happy and they're positive. For them, it may not have the same effect. So I would answer the question by saying, know yourself. If you're a person who struggles with depression, if you're a person who struggles with anxiety, what you take in becomes paramount. Extraordinarily important what you take in. In fact, I would argue what you take in for anyone is extraordinarily important, but especially if you struggle with depression or anxiety, it can definitely make things worse, for sure. I've seen it a bunch of times,
right?
For sure. Actually, this week, it was a really hard week for me. This week, I left the prison. I went back home, and I was sad. I didn't know why I was sad. I had no idea. It was really weird. I couldn't figure it out. And I just my whole drive home, I was listening to Madison Ryan Ward, and I was listening to Fred Hammond, and I was trying to pump in as much positive music as I could, because I was feeling off, you know what I mean? And it changed. It made me feel a little bit better. So to answer your question, if you struggle with depression like myself, be careful what you take in, including television. Be careful what you take in.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Hey, David, I have a question. The last couple calls we've gotten had to do with religion and God and Christianity and around forgiveness. I was wondering if we can just remove that from the equation and talk about this idea that I hear all the time, that forgiveness is for yourself.
Yeah.
And not the other person. If you can expand upon that, on that idea, and what does that mean, that it's for yourself?
Yeah. So there's a book called The Body Keeps the Score that you all should get if you haven't read it already. Essentially, when you hold anger, frustration, when you hold those types of emotions, your body will be the one that will respond, that will have a negative effect, not the other person, right? So the whole idea of forgiveness is that I don't carry the shame, the guilt, the anger, the frustration, that I don't carry those things. It's not for the other person. It's so that I don't carry those things in my body as well. And so the from high blood pressure to hypertension and everything else that comes with not only, how we eat and those types of things, but the amount of stress that we carry. And so if I have someone that I haven't forgiven, and it's been 25 years, that's 25 years off and on of anger. That's 25 years off and on of frustration. That's 25 years off and on of stress. And so by releasing that, by forgiving them, it helps me. It helps soothe me. It helps regulate my emotions, regulate my nervous system, et cetera. And so I hope I answered your question. I like the chain, by the way, too.
Thank you.
Oh, damn it.
And here we go.
Damn, David, you know what you just
That's that
did?
Big Ten, baby. That's that Big Ten love.
Here we go.
Thank you, David.
Oh, my
Mike,
gosh.
Big
Right
Ten
news.
stunt.
Oh, my God. Listen, this was a great conversation today with David Weber, man. Let's give this man a round of applause. Sonny in Philly, Chadwick in Texas, TK in Dallas, and everybody else within the sound of our voice. You have access to him.
Yes.
He has graciously opened himself up to the citizenship. So if you hit him directly at
David Weber _LPC. For those who don't have Instagram, just email me, davidweberlpc@gmail.com.
There it is. Mr. Weber, I want to thank you again for a job well done, bro. And we got the next when we do our next sit down broadcast outside of New York. Outside of New York or LA. And we're live in front of some citizens. You have to come.
Yeah.
You
I
have to
would
be a
love to.
part of that.
That would
All
be
right.
dope.
It's a great
That's
experience.
a good
too.
idea.